Gather round, little boys and girls. I've come to tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a little pumpkin in a pumpkin patch. His name was Jack McLaren. His parents were Ida and Larry McLaren from Iowa. Little Jack was a nice little pumpkin. He went to pumpkin school, he did his pumpkin homework, he ate his pumpkin food, he played with his pumpkin friends. One day, as Jack was entering puberty and dealing with the difficult and seemingly unending sense that no one understands you, some magical visitors came to the pumpkin patch. They came with laughter and smiles, with face paint and corn on the cob and candy apples, and invited some of Jack's friends home with them, home to share in the laughter and smiles. But little Jack was left alone in a dark, cold world of indifference and brutal truth, while all of his friends, and even his parents, who had hoped to be picked, were picked with joyous celebration. Little Jack wished and prayed that he would be picked by the happy visitors and could join his friends and family in a warm home, a home filled with love and care and the laughter and smiles we talked about earlier. But little Jack still wasn't picked. He started to think he would never be picked, that maybe he just wasn't good enough, that he would just sit in the field all alone for the rest of his days, with no one to talk to or tell jokes with or converse about the newest well-written paid television subscription episodic. But then one day, at long last, a new little visitor came. A girl, smiling and laughing, picked little Jack up from the field and hugged him tight, shouting with glee that she'd found a friend. And so had little Jack. At long last, he had been picked. And so the little girl took Jack back to her warm home to be loved and cared for and celebrated. Through a ritual sacrifice whereupon little Jack was stabbed to death by the little girl and her family, and had his brains, entrails, and other internal organs scooped out and unceremoniously dumped in the trash. And now little Jack's dried out, mutilated corpse sits perched atop the little girl's mantle for people to marvel and laugh at while they celebrate the consumption of sugar-based goods. And that, little boys and girls, is the story of little Jack, the dead pumpkin.
HW Live.